Can I get Alderman Felix and Alderman Guzman? Okay, the time is now 6:31 on August 18th, and the Judiciary Committee meeting is called to order. Can I have a roll call, please?
Chairman Hayes.
Present.
Alderman Guzman. Present. Alderman Felix.
Present.
Alderman Newsom.
Present.
Alderman Turner.
Present.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. May I please have a motion and a second for approval of the meeting minutes from the Special Judiciary Committee meeting minutes, meeting from Monday, April 15th, 2019, if I'm reading that correctly.
Yes. None of the aldermen are sitting here today that was on that committee. I'll make the motion.
All right.
Second.
Are there any questions? I guess I'm going to ask this question now and reveal my ignorance. If we weren't here for it and we haven't seen... Oh, okay. All right. Thank you. Then roll call, please. Aye.
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 Motion passes. Thank you. Agenda item C is public comment. Is there anyone from the audience that wishes to address the committee about any of the items that are on tonight's agenda? Come on, this is a riveting topic about chickens in your backyard. Anybody? Anybody at all? I will. Okay, there being no public comment, there being no old business, moving on to new business. The purpose of the meeting tonight is to have a discussion about a potential ordinance allowing the raising of chickens or hens in Waukegan. So let's kick it off with Alderman Guzman, who has his hand up.
Okay, so I am split on this. Okay, pets are pets, but I received a couple emails. I saw a couple of videos. So what happens when these things get loose? I mean, dogs get loose, cats get loose. I mean, what happens then? Then they're all over the place. Then what's going on with bird flu when they catch flu? I mean, you're talking, maybe a spread of disease. Are these human? Can humans catch it or other animals? So are you going to approve it because it, but then I can see it both ways, but then, it's okay in other communities like City of Chicago and so forth. You know, how do they deal with this? So, yeah, it's legal. I looked it up, unless they change their ordinance. There's just so many questions on this whole thing. So I'm in the air for both ways.
All right, Alderman Felix.
Is this to have them as pets or to do whatever you want with them in terms of like get, eggs and whatnot and consumption? Then I know we had someone here that came into a meeting and they were concerned about having them as pets. I think that, one or two, but if someone wants to be allowed to have, I'm pretty sure we'll make some kind of, if we're looking into it hard, we would have some definitions of what we would allow. But so when someone's raising hens for the eggs, don't they at some point have to have a rooster, like the male? No? At all? No? I don't know. I don't know about chickens. So
It's been a while since I had my biology class, but I seem to recall that something has to take place there. Was that it? Okay. All right. Alderman Turner.
Thank you. So this Alderman just kind of whispering to one another, but this came up many years ago, and it's come up several times over those many years. I remember Mr. Dickers and his family over in the 7th Ward asked for it like 12, 15 years ago. So again, it's come up periodically, but no one's ever brought it this far for discussion. And obviously, there are a lot of questions. Most recently, at our last city council meeting, one of the neighbors in the 6th Ward came and voiced her concerns or her observation in that she had moved from Chicago where hens are allowed. And I want to specify that these are hens and not roosters, and it's roosters that create the noise, right? They're the ones that the cock-a-doodle-doo. The hens are not noisy. And so the family brought their hens up, as well as some ducks. I'd never heard of anyone bringing ducks, but she mentioned in her talk that she also had ducks and found that they were not allowed in Waukegan, so they had to get rid of them. So the discussion, and I asked that this be brought up for discussion because the request is not only from this resident, but from others that I have spoken to over the years. Many people have talked about allowing chickens, hens, as pets and for eggs, to get fresh eggs. I briefly looked at the City of Chicago ordinance, and they do allow hens. They also allow goats and some other stuff. Well, goats not a bad idea. It keeps the grass down, right? Goats. But anyway, I think if we were going to pursue this, obviously we need to do more research. Maybe we need to pull that Chicago ordinance or maybe some ordinance from other communities in Lake County. There's a lot of questions about how they be kept. The Chicago ordinance specifies that they are not to be slaughtered, so you're not going to have chicken stew, right? They're pets and for eggs. So I think it's worth pursuing intellectually at this point.
Alderman Guzman.
Another email that I read is that if we go through with this, basically animal control has to add in more space. So that means we have to pay money to do this?
You raise a good point. It's an enforcement issue. So you have to enforce whatever ordinance so we have to have somebody to go out and enforce this.
Yeah.
But also, if it's not enforced or the hens have to be taken or they get loose, I don't know what happens. But yes, animal control may have to take them, at least in the short run.
Yeah, that was in that email that Alderman Guzman is referencing, in that if animal control, he had to take possession of chickens, then where would they keep them, right? And if there were some aviation, bird flu, or whatever, that sick hens, how would you quarantine them, et cetera? So there are a lot of questions that we need to ask, and certainly this is an important one to consider, is what role animal control will play in them. I don't know, I've chased chickens before when I was a kid, and they're not easy to catch if they get out, but I also know that there are a number of people who have chickens now in Waukegan, and they kind of control them. So,
All right, Alderwoman Newsom and then Alderman Felix.
I heard that some people do have them, according to the email, but they're not supposed to have them, and they get out. But anyway, we did discuss chickens and things like that. It became an issue because people were illegally fighting these chickens, making them whatever the fighting they were having at different places and stuff like that. And it's difficult to enforce. How do you enforce who's going to have them and who's not going to have them? The neighbors are upset because they got chickens, and then in the email it says you can't tell a rooster from a chicken until they get a certain age and all that kind of stuff. And then you got them roosters, I hear them, in North Chicago carrying on. But anyway, we have enough issues, I believe, with neighbors right now when it comes to enforcement of the ordinances that we already have. When a neighbor's water is flowing in the direction of their house, or a neighbor won't cut down their tree. And how are you going to tell a neighbor that, okay, I'm allowed to have chickens in my backyard when they disturb the next door neighbor. I mean, I think we're going down the wrong slope with this, and it is just bad. I think it's going to create more issues. It's probably just a handful of people that want them anyway, and it's going to cause more problems with enforcement of this allowing chickens. That's my say.
Thank you, Alderwoman Newsom. Alderman Felix?
Two things. Maybe we can do something where it's on a case-by-case basis based on our criteria, based on land, based on, just putting that out there. If that's something, we can talk about. And the next is for our legal counsel, is there any pros and cons based on other cities, how they do things with chickens?
This has actually been debated in several different other communities that we represent. And in doing so, a couple of them just tabled it back to committee and was never recalled. One actually moved forward to do something with some regulations.
And what does that look like with the one that went forward with it?
There was discussion as to the size of the coop, the size of the yard. They had to be bigger backyards. There was all kinds of discussion. I'd have to go back and pull that ordinance, and I'd be happy to get it to you for your review. But it was also a lot of discussion regarding, how many were actually even eligible to even have it with the regulations that would have been there. So.
Thank you. No further questions.
Okay, Alderwoman Florian?
Thank you. So just a little biology lesson for you guys. A rooster is not needed for a chicken to lay eggs. Hens will lay eggs whether a rooster is present or not, just like women produce eggs every month or so. Roosters are only necessary if you want to produce fertilized eggs that will hatch into chicks. So they don't have to have roosters to have chickens, but as Alderman Newsom mentioned, you don't know until they're a certain age whether they're a male or female. I've been up here 6 years now. One of the most frustrating things that I hear at this podium, which I think should be moved down there sometime so you guys have it right in front of you some of the time. But one of the most frustrating things is the people who rightfully come up here and say, you guys pass these ordinances and then you have no one to enforce them. And if we open this city to chickens, I think we are rightfully going to get lambasted at that podium. Someone mentioned the roosters crowing. Well, that's not the only problem, although it is one. They're smelly if you don't take care of them correctly. They attract other vermin like rats or mice or whatever if they're not taken care of properly. And look at the problems we have with cats and dogs, which are pretty, been domesticated a long time. And now you're going to add a whole nother layer of something we have to keep track of and have to enforce. I reached out to animal control. They are not in favor of us doing this. They don't have the capacity to, as you said, house sick chickens especially. And we don't know what's coming. This bird flu is still new out there. We don't know if it's going to start transferring from birds to humans. I predict it will eventually. So I just think this is something, I feel sorry for the family that was here. They seemed very nice people and very emotional about losing their chickens. But like other ordinances, when you move from one community to another, you have to look at what is allowed and what isn't allowed. And I'm sorry this happened to them, but the onus was really on them to find out that Waukegan did not allow chickens. It is not our fault that that happened.
Thank you, Alderwoman Florian. Alderman Turner, did you have a comment?
Yeah, I just want to comment. So I did a search here on the Chicago ordinance. I'm not going to go in and read it. What I will do is send you everyone I'll send it in your email, send you a link to it. You can read it at your leisure. But I think it's kind of interesting. Alderman Florian raised some excellent points. All of you have. And I'm glad we had started this initial discussion. I don't know how much longer how much further we can go with this tonight, Tom, but I'll get this link out to you guys if you want to read it. And maybe we'll pick up another discussion later, but I don't think there's a motion for it, so.
Okay.
Thanks for the discussion.
Yeah, thanks everybody for the discussion. Generally, since I'll just add in that I happen to agree with Alderwoman Newsom and Alderwoman Florian on this. But I would like to say thank you to Alderman Martinez, who, as he often does, did some homework on this and got a pretty informative response from somebody that I think was able to give us some color, or at least a framework within which to consider this. So with that said, if there aren't any other comments for the discussion, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I so move. Second.
All right, you guys couldn't do that quick enough. Alderwoman Newsom is our first, Alderman Turner is our second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned at 6:46. Thanks, everybody.